Now show up your shark bracelet. Well, hi everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. This is our third roundtable out of six. So we'll be talking tonight about membership, and we're being hosted by our membership committee. So Charlotte Metcalfe, our chair, Carol Nunez from Antigua, Cheryl Adelman from San Francisco, Marnie just joined from Hanford, all on the committee. So I'm going to start really quickly with just a quick polling question, which should just kind of gauge what people are interested in talking about membership wise. So you can think about it for like 10 seconds and then just, what would you like? Just, this will just help us make sure that we, did I even do this right? No. Okay, forget the first question because I didn't set this up correctly. Just answer question number 2.
I had it and it disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared.
Well, that's weird.
I can see it.
How about now?
There, now I see it again.
Did it go away again?
No.
Oh, I don't get to answer it. Well, Charlotte already knows what I want to talk about.
Hi, Pam. Oh, Lynette Grandison. Hey, Lynette. Hey, Marnie. Okay, I'll be quiet.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Lynette.
Hello.
Hello, Sparkle Star.
That's cute. Very cute. Let's see.
Just go a few more seconds and then this will have something to gauge. Okay.
How many questions did you put? Oh, here we go. Okay.
Well, I really only intended to put one, but so let's see. Well, this took me to a whole nother place. Okay. Charlotte, I'm just going to read these to you. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll monitor them as well. So we have incorporating new members into the general meeting and keeping them interested. Ideas for online membership, engagement with members, how to keep members, what is working well, retention, success stories, retaining younger members, onboarding new members, what have been your successes in recruiting new members, retention, building and mentoring, retention, fun games for members, retention, and membership mixer ideas.
Cool.
Okay, so it just kind of helps us know how much kind of time to allot to each topic. So, I lost my screen. Okay. So Charlotte, you want to?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I do. I can't see those results, so I'll but I just first want to just say, you guys, oh my goodness, first of all, thank you for being here, right? Membership is so important. So really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I want to give again, Governor Judy already mentioned who our committee chairs are that are here. We've got of course we have Carol Nunez here, Wave Carol from SI Manteca. We've got Cheryl Adelman from SI San Francisco, and we've got Marnie Salas from SI Hanford. Okay. So, and then we have a lot of committee club membership chairs here as well. And I want to thank you. If you're a membership chair in your club, can you just like give us a wave? That's awesome. Oh, yay. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Um, you know, and let's just acknowledge really quick that we're coming out of the holiday fog. Can we just all say that? I mean, can we just all just lean into that a minute? Like, we've had a lot going on, right, since our district meeting. And I don't want us to beat ourselves up. It's okay. Like, if we're not where we maybe want to be at this point with our clubs, that's okay. There is still plenty of time to make a difference and to grow and to reach some goals that we have for our individual clubs and for our region. We are doing very, very well. We've had good growth so far this year. I think we're like halfway there, which is really cool. It's technically halfway through the year, right? Do we really start in July? Huh. Half of us take off a few months, right? So that's not really fair. But I consider us being about 4 months into the year and we're halfway to our membership goal. So that's pretty darn good. So let's acknowledge that. Give yourself a pat on the back. I mean, come on. So I want to also just well, first of all, I'm not going to say anything else. Let's lean into these questions. I'm so happy you're here. Who would like, this is an open roundtable, legit forum. I am not going to start with a particular question. I would like you to use some Zoom etiquette. I'd like you to raise your hand when you want to share. I'll try to catch you, or Governor Judy, or Governor-elect Beth. I would love for you, if you put a question in the poll and you want to talk about it, raise your hand and then let's have an open conversation about it. So why don't we get going? And if anyone's messaging me, I'm sorry, I may not be able to multitask very well. So who wants to start? Let's do it.
You got Governor Judy's hand up.
I raised my hand. Somebody
thank
else
you.
was. I didn't get to answer the poll, so.
Yeah, what did you want to talk about?
My question is, and Charlotte, I mentioned this to you yesterday. My question is kind of what success are people having in kind of I call it closing the deal, right? So we invite people to our meetings and they come and they always seem to have a great time.
Alden, can you put that on low? The meet on low?
Oops.
Oh, please make sure you're muting yourself. Everybody mute yourself, please. Thank you.
So I'm just wondering kind of for especially those clubs that are very successful, which is many of you, what's kind of the someone attends, seems to be interested. How do you get them re-engaged and ultimately to join? Like what kind of steps you take between them attending for the first time and then actually having them join?
Yeah, how do you close the deal?
Close the deal.
Close the deal.
Okay, I see Maria's hand. Is this in answering this question, Maria?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
thank you, honey.
Thank you. I don't know if there's anybody from Clovis here, but my 29-year-old daughter joined the Clovis Club. And I talked to her a little bit about Seroptimus, but when she was telling me why she joined, it was because the president met her for coffee before a meeting and make sure she knew somebody. Hi, Linda, I see you. That she knew somebody before she walked into the meeting. And she said, Mom, that was the reason I stayed, because that was it. And I've noticed with the members that I've asked to join the online club, the ones that have joined, I've had to sell the club before inviting them to a meeting. So I've had to get them involved and interested before they came. So I think that's one thing we need to do too, is kind of let them know what they're getting into.
Excellent. Let's have some conversation around that. What do you think? What are you guys doing with that? Are you doing some of that already? That's great, Maria. Unmute at this point. If you've got some loud noise in the background, just pay attention. Linda Gillis.
So along those same lines, we've been pretty successful inviting them to some of our special membership things. Like we had a Friendsgiving, and then we went and did glass blowing and invited people that weren't members to that. And they seemed to really like it. And then I followed up by calling them and asking them if they want to go to coffee or whatever. And so far, that's worked out really well. We've gotten quite a few new members that way.
I love that. You know, what I love about that is number one, you invite them to something social that's fun outside of the club, but then you take it a step further and follow up with them for a one-on-one or with your committee chair or whatever to answer questions, probably give them a membership application, whatever it is you do to encourage membership. So you really do have to follow up. But I love that you started with like encouraging them to participate in some of your outside activities. Yeah. I see Kelly Roop, and then Caitlin.
Yeah, I agree with that. The one-on-one meetings, I know we always do. If somebody's interested, they will call. It doesn't hurt that we have Carol Tyrell first on the line. And so Carol will always call and invite whoever's the president. This year it's me. And we have a little, it's usually 3 or 4 or 5 of our members will go to Starbucks and have a little coffee and then invite them to a meeting. And I'm going to tell you, it's worked 7 times this year. So
Woohoo!
it's working for us. Yeah, it's
You
just
need
that person, it's just that personal contact.
I think you might need more bracelets. Am I right?
I have 2 more. Challenge accepted. Yes.
Excellente. That's awesome. Okay, thank you for sharing. Caitlin Hopkins.
Hey, so I just wanted to say that I really like that idea of inviting people to, non-Seroptimist events. We actually had a member in our club over in Oakdale do that. We have a bunco group that meets outside of Seroptimist hours, obviously. And our lovely member, Cindy, brought we needed substitutes. And so she had a couple of her friends come and play bunco with us. And we got to talk to them outside of Seroptimus, but talk about Seroptimus in such a fun and lighthearted way. And it was super fun. And then just the next week, or no, it was 2 weeks later, Cindy brought 3 of those ladies from Bunko to our meeting as guests. And they seem to be really, really, really interested in joining. And they are really lovely people, and I'm really glad that I got to meet them outside of Seroptimus too, because sometimes when you meet guests at meetings, it's a very quick hello, goodbye, sort of nice to meet you, because either you're running in or they're running out. So it was really cool to talk to them and get to meet them and then, see them at the meeting and, know them. Um, so yeah, I really do agree with that idea.
Hey, Caitlin, thank you for sharing. I think
Yeah,
that
of course.
really, really nice. And I agree with you. It makes the potential new member experience so much better when they come to a meeting. If they've met with a few people prior to the meeting, that makes them feel like they already know somebody. And like Caitlin said, it's really hard. The meetings are quick and busy and not a lot of time for social interaction sometimes, which is so important. At this particular meeting, our membership chair, Christina, was sick, but typically Chris would have known ahead of time and brought membership packets to give to these ladies. So that's something you can be proactive when you know a guest is coming. Make sure you have a membership packet, and then, of course, make sure you're following up after to meet them for coffee or something, or a Zoom coffee date, wine date, whatever you want to make it. Governor Judy, how about we run on to another topic? How does that sound? I can't see the questions still. I know you sent them to me, but I don't see them. I'm sorry. I know that there were, well, I can't, you have them there.
I'm sorry, something's just come up and I need to leave the meeting, but I'll watch the recording of it.
I'm so sorry. Thanks, Carol. Thanks for being here. Okay,
Cheryl, I think one of the things that she mentioned, the topics was, one was retention
Right.
and some of the successes around that. And then, if I recall, one was, for others to perhaps share some of their successes in actual recruiting. And so I think we've heard a few things, but yeah, just curious if there's others.
yeah. So
So retention.
you want to focus on, let's see. Well, let's talk about retention. Let's open that up. Carol Nunes.
I found a couple things have worked well for me over the years. One is if you can get more than one person to join at a time, they tend to do a nice little relationship. They have something in common. They don't feel that they're singled out. That's helped in bringing a group in, if you can do that. The other thing that we do at work is we find that if we orientate about a month or so after, then maybe another month after, take them to coffee or have a meeting in the evening or something and feed them. And we talk about seroptimus and do an orientation. So we ask what they're thinking, if they have questions, because when they first come in, it's very difficult for them to understand some of the things we're doing. And because many of the projects they have never participated in.
I love that.
And they're excited when they first join. And they don't. So when you reinforce those things, it kind of helps, I found. So
I like that you wait about a month or so, 4 to 6 weeks, give them a chance to get their feet wet and then do the orientation. I think that's like a really good idea.
Well, it wasn't my idea, but it works.
Because, when you're new, you get a little overwhelmed. It is like you said, everything's new. I know when I was new, I joined and I love that you mentioned joining in a group. I joined in a group. We had a membership mixer. Christina and I came on at the same time, as well as some other people. And I remember I missed the orientation, but it was probably after the first meeting, but I wasn't able to make it or something. But it's okay. But I do think it's really good. I think all the points you made were really, really helpful. Thank you. I can't see everybody. Let's see. Okay, Miss Maria.
One observation I'd like to make too is I think what scares off a lot of new members and why we have which could cause an issue with retention is pushing them into leadership roles before they're ready. And especially with our smaller clubs, I know we have to, but just having somebody join you because you got to fill a spot on a roster and pressuring them. One, you're going to burn them out. Two, you're going to scare them off. And three, they're not going to go out and bring any of their friends over because they're kind of intimidated. That's just my general observation, that I wanted to get that open for discussion in case I'm off base.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably.
Yeah, I agree with you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I think occasionally you have that rare person that's like, sign me up, put me in. I want to pitch, I want to catch, I want to do it all. And you want to harness that, but you also don't want to burn someone out. But I have seen it time and time again in many clubs where you have someone in that maybe seems to have a lot of energy and we put them on the board or something and they're just not ready for it. So I agree. If you have the luxury of a large membership and can kind of have that path to leadership, right? That builds, it's nice. If you're a smaller club and you don't have that luxury, it's just being very aware of the expectations and pressure we're putting on new members sometimes.
That's great. Let's talk some more. Who else wants to share about retention? Well, Maria, you have another.
Oh, I just want to follow up with that too. Is one danger of that too is if you push somebody into a leadership role before they're ready, and you try and you push and you try to guide them and push them, then they almost feel like they're puppets. Like they weren't ready, they're just filling a spot. So I think that's something we need to avoid too.
Good thoughts. Good thoughts. Miss Cheryl Adelman.
So I just wanted to ask what, and it sounds like you guys are doing some great things as far as meeting with them individually before they go to a meeting, that sort of thing. But wondering if you're also checking in with the members, whether once they join or before they join, to find out where their interests lie. So are they interested in fundraising? Are they interested in the programs? When do you broach that with them to then be able to better determine how, what are some of the things they might be interested in? Just curious as to if some of the clubs have, like a questionnaire that you provide them, or is that just conversations that you have with them about where their interests lie so that we can, put them in the right committee, get them involved in the right thing. And that to me kind of goes to retention. So just curious.
That's really good. Linda, you got a thought about that?
I don't know if everybody's application the same, but at the bottom has, things listed. What are you interested in being involved in? And so that kind of gives a jumping off point. And then this kind of applies to this. What recently, our club is members of two different chambers, the Fresno County Women's Chamber and then the Clovis Chamber. And we have people that are from other nonprofits being really interested in helping another nonprofit and us working together. That has been a great way of connecting and getting new members also. And then whatever their business is that they're trying to promote, then, we try to provide an avenue for them to use that in our club. Like our next speaker meeting is one of our newer is going to talk about financial literacy because she works at a credit union. So anyway, that seems to be working really well.
That's awesome. Linda, I appreciate you sharing that. When I put it in the chat, I'm not sure you're going to see it, so I want to just voice it. Could you share your membership application with us?
I can do that. You
Doesn't
mean?
not right now, but like
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
get it to Governor Judy or something. I think
Sure.
we would be, I like that you have something at the bottom that shows them it could help, it could be helpful. I mean, I think that is helpful, right?
Yeah.
To have something to show an area of interest. I like that idea a lot.
And we have that on our application. I've seen it on other applications for clubs, but even in my own club, I found that I see that, and when you actually talk to them and kind of get to know them, it's, then it's, I think sometimes they just put an answer there because they're clearly not aware of all the ways that they can participate. So sometimes, twice, I found that what they put there was different than really what they were passionate about and were good at. So, it's just, yeah.
I think another thing that has helped is that we have YouTube videos on our website for some of the different things like our Dream It Be It, so they can kind of get a picture of what are we talking about? What is this and all. So that's helpful.
That's really good. So the YouTube avenue is a great promotion tool. So thank you for that.
Great tip. Great tip. And you put that on your website. That's pretty cool. Fancy. I do think, Cheryl, what you're getting at is so important. and I think it would be nice if we had a little more guidance. Some people are naturally gifted in finding out when they meet with someone for a coffee date or something where their talents lie, where their interests lie, and other people might not think to ask certain questions to get that out of them. I know I can speak for my own club, SI Oakdale. I am on the membership committee. Surprise, surprise. And what we do is what I find that sometimes we do that isn't always, I won't say that this is the membership chair's fault because it's not. This is just something, you know how you get in a rut and you kind of do the same thing the way you've always done it. So I've been on the membership committee for a while, and basically we just go and share about all of our committees. So we basically vomit SI Oakdale on them. And you know, I have had the awareness that it's really important to only share a few things, and then we need to start asking a lot of questions, you know? So you bring up such a good point, and we don't have like a polished way that we train on that or anything, but it could be something that maybe we need to address.
Yeah, I just want to throw out that, I don't know how many people remember the talent cards, but that's exactly what that exercise is designed to do. Every club has a set, or did at one point last year. And that's exactly an easy way. You don't even have to know somebody. You just hand them a deck of cards and say, go through these and pick the 5 things that really describe you best. And it's really amazing what you can do with that information. When someone says they're detail oriented, or when someone says they're a people person, or when someone says, I'm a great negotiator, whatever it is, it's a really easy way for those that aren't gifted with drawing things out of people, for people to self-identify what they identify as their strengths and talents.
That's like light bulb moment. Light bulb moment. Okay, we need to bring back those talent cards. Those did not get utilized like they should have. Who even knows what Governor Judy's talking about? Raise your hand. Wait, raise your hand if you have no clue.
There's a few. That's good.
Raise your hand if you have no clue. Let me see. Hold on. Keep your hand up. No clue. No surprise there because,
Can I
wow.
confess something? Sorry, I just private messaged Susan, the current president, because I know exactly where that deck of cards is, and I did not give it to her. So she may not know what you're talking about, but I have them. I will get them to you, Susan. Sorry.
Hey, well, Pam.
Maybe we'll bring him back to President's Roundtable again. Go over it again.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
It's no apology needed there, Pam, because I don't think I did anything with them when I was given them. I mean, like, hello, I passed them out, but no education. Like, what are you supposed to do with these? They're really, really good. And what Governor Judy just said, I probably missed her training on this, but if you have them, they're great. Take them out, ask someone to flip through them, and the top 5?
Yeah, whatever. 3, 5. I usually do 3, but you can do 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it takes like 5 minutes. I mean,
that's cool. That's really cool. So if someone doesn't have a set of cards and every club should have a set of cards, right?
Every club was given a set of cards.
So, and that was from the last biennium.
That was from, I passed them out at the conference 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or a year and a half ago.
So if you think about, they were given to your club presidents, I believe, yes. So go back 2 years to your club president and ask them if they have them. Okay. So for those of you that have no clue, that's a good place to start. Okay.
If you would like them and don't have them, just let me know.
Charlotte, you did have a hand from Gloria. I don't know.
Thank you. Hey, Gloria Ray.
Hey.
I saw you sneak in. Where are you? There you are. Hey.
Yeah. No, I don't even want to take the conversation back. it was about membership and retaining members. And one of the things, as one of the new presidents, that I find myself running into, your suggestions, all of you guys' suggestions are great, and I do a lot of those. But, something that I keep hearing and it keeps resonating with me is that there is so much for you to learn. And when we get new members, they're overwhelmed. When you're a smaller club and somebody said something about like vomiting, your club. Was that you, Charlotte?
Yeah.
But, and that's all well and good. And those of us are excited. But for those of people who are like myself, but, I'm going to jump in feet first. And all of a sudden, after you've been into it 6 months, 9 months, and you find there are more rules and more things that you need to do, and it becomes overwhelming. So if you're trying to run your own business and you're trying to deal with other things and bring in other people, and it's a challenge. And the bigger challenge is some of the people who've been there for a long time have decided, I mean, for me right now, by June, I will only have one person on the board. We have nominating committee, but people say, "Oh, I just want to be a member now." And so I don't know what that answer is in terms of, and I'm not saying that everyone was a contributor or a major contributor, but it does concern me that when you're a new president and then you go from having full boards to people who don't show up or they no longer want to participate. And I understand things change, so I'll be real clear with that. But it is disconcerting. And then for new members to come in, and the first thing we're so excited, we want to throw them into the fire and the frying pan. And you're still trying to, I'm drinking from two fire hoses, just trying to learn things. And a lot of times I don't have the luxury to go look it up. So I get a little stressed when I have to reach out and call some of the other members, even though they say it's no bother, but it's things I want to look up because I need to know for myself, if that makes sense. So it's a big challenge. And then the other thing is the areas are very different. San Francisco offers so much, right? It has so much to do. And it's a daunting task at times, if that makes sense, of how do you get people, and you got good people. Yeah, you got two or three of us, and we're talking about that now. We can't do some of the things we want to do if we only still have the same 4 or 5 people always volunteering and jumping in and doing. But you've got 20 people on the roster. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And notwithstanding, not taken away from health issues, children, family, whatever that is. But I don't know what the answer is, and I would be very interested in, as we go down that road, just trying to figure out what that looks like.
Well, thank you for sharing, Gloria. First of all, and I think that's a super important. I really, really appreciate you sharing that because I think we can all relate to the feeling of overwhelm and 80% of 20% of the members doing 80% of the work or whatever. Um, and coming in and just, you're all excited about the mission and everything, but then you mentioned rules coming in and different things and how I suspect it might be the syndrome of we do it this way, or we've always done it this way. Could have been that. But I think it's a lesson for us to hear some of that, your concerns, valid concerns, because I don't know about you all, but when you're in overwhelm and you've been given too many things and there's so much, you're going to shut down, right? So I think, we always fight overwhelm, and the tendency is to just shut down because it's so much easier. And so perhaps we need to look at finding our niche, if you will, our niche, whatever you call that word. And, we have our dream programs and we have some community programs, but maybe we're spreading ourselves for our club sizes a little too too much, or maybe some of our volunteers, got Tammy Bingston on here. We were just talking about this today. Maybe some of our volunteers say yes too many times, right? And that's on us. So we got to teach our members, we got to work on that. Like, we can't be doing everything. So if you see a member signing up for 100 committees, well, maybe the president needs to have a little heartwarming chat with her so that we don't lose her. I don't know. Is that helpful at all, Gloria?
Unless you're the president.
Right? Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, Pat Donahue, please share your wisdom.
Oh no, I feel very, very fortunate with the my very seasoned and professional sisters that I work with, but they're always saying, you got to delegate, and I start laughing. I'm like, well, either I'm delegating to Cheryl or Judy or Carla.
Yeah, Gloria has a severe disadvantage of having people like Gail and I that can't be on the board, and and Cheryl's busy doing region stuff, and Carla's busy doing region stuff. So we are very we certainly do as much as we can with the club. We just can't serve on the board, and that leaves us with a lot of new members, and it is kind of overwhelming. So yeah.
Pat Donahue, would you please share?
Yes, I'd be happy to. I kind of empathize with Gloria from a couple of standpoints. One is, most of you know, Watsonville used to be a very large club, and now we're down to about, realistically 15 to 18 active members, and the rest show up occasionally for one thing or another. And we had to make some hard decisions going forward when I first became president. This is my third and last year. And I've told them that. But we basically threw out our bylaws and our procedures. And, God forbid if the laws and resolutions gods come down at me, but they weren't working. We couldn't sustain committees because we didn't have any members. So what we've done, for example, with the Live Your Dream Awards, Jan King, who's been the leader on that for several years now, handles it through a great staff at Cabrillo College in terms of, the reviewing of the applications, et cetera. And this year we're going to be doing an award, in-person award ceremony. And what we've done is form an ad hoc committee, and they hear the word ad hoc, and I explain, it's a short-term committee. This is what the job is going to be, and this is how we're going to get it done. We're forming an ad hoc Dream It, Be It committee. Again, because we can't sustain committees, it's just easier to form an ad hoc committee and grab somebody that might be interested in both programs to be on the committees. One of my questions in terms of onboarding members is how much information, we don't have that many committees. We've got, for intents and purposes, we've got Dream It, Be It, and Live Your Dream. We've got some gals that talk about longevity. We know their talents, and they only want to do our fundraisers. Lisa Cottle and Janet Krupel will never, ever be an officer of our club. That's just not their stick. But if we ask them to do a fall fantasy gala kind of thing, they're on it. If we ask them to do our Annie Glass boutique and head that up, they're on it. That's their talent. So we kind of established that in many respects, and just we leave it alone. Once they've found their niche, we ask them to invite others to join their group, and they do that. But getting back to my original question, we have taken in 3 new members, and we're real excited about that. One of the things that I found with, and Renee Mello, who some of you have met, who's actually vice president and membership chair this year, is really good about getting members in. I mean, she's been real successful in contacting some that she meets with. Our problem is how much information do we overwhelm them with in the beginning? Like, I think it's easier to focus on our club before we start talking about the international aspect of Seroptimus. I would hope most of you have found that to be the case as well, and that we indoctrinate them, first with club and a district and a region, and then we go out to federation and international. But I'd love to hear more from the rest of you on how you're actually, again, we're a small club. As president, I live 17 miles away from Watsonville, so I'm not going back and forth all that much. Our board meets once a month via Zoom, and we have an in-person once a month club meeting at a restaurant. So we're hampered in that we're not together as much as we used to be. And I think it just complicates matters. So help me.
Love it. Kelly, I'll get to you. Who wants to help? Who has an opinion? Maria.
And from the lady from Watsonville, have you considered having a hybrid meeting? Because you already have your officers meeting via Zoom. And if your location is remote, maybe some of the younger ladies that work in offices or have to get home and take care of kids offer hybrid, have somebody Zooming during your in-person meeting.
We could certainly give that a try. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a super good suggestion. Who else?
I mean, I don't know that I have a suggestion. Potentially a word of encouragement to Pat is that in North San Mateo County, I hear this from a lot too. No one here tonight, but they are small in number and they know that. And so they always saying, we're so small, we can't do anything. But every time I go to their club and every time, Pat, I come to your club, at least you have people there. It may be 12 or 15, but they're showing up. And that's as good as having a club of 50 where you still only have maybe 20 people show up. So, I mean, as someone who visits all the clubs, it's always nice to see, even if it's a small club, I see the same faces every time. Everyone shows up. And, to Gloria's point, we're not there yet in our club. We have new faces every time, which is also good. But if that helps at all, I think it's encouraging that at least you have a really good, solid core group, regardless of how small it is.
That's the blessing. Yeah, absolutely.
Linda.
Well, just to go along with what Maria said, we've gotten into the habit, especially since COVID and all, that we always send out a Zoom link to our meetings now. And we have 5 or 6 people almost always that choose to join that way. And especially in the winter, it seems like somebody has a cold or this or that, and they'll still join on Zoom. So, that's nice. I mean, our club has gotten a lot bigger. We have like 38 now, I think, but, we usually have 20 at a meeting, but then we may have 5 or 6 on Zoom, which is, it's not quite as effective, but that it's grown that I get on through Zoom. And a lot of times we let them know that we're recording it like on this. And that has kind of helped our secretary too, because you can go back and, check what you've missed when you're trying to take notes, and do the minutes. And then also, so far as telling new members that we just kind of started this, but it seems to have worked well. So we created a PowerPoint orientation, but it was by invitation, not at a club time or anything. And I offered a daytime and I offered a nighttime time to come, and it was just their choice. And about half of the people that came the first time were members that had been around a long time. And so then they were like, a lot of the new ones were like, I had no idea it was international too, and just, hearing about the UN, but it isn't something they chose to come and hear about it. So it wasn't, like just drinking through a fire hose or something.
That's cool, Linda.
Anyway.
That's cool. I don't wanna miss Kelly Roop, SI Calaveras County. Hey, do you have a question on another topic?
Well, kind of both of that. So we're very small up here, as you guys know. And we don't Zoom just because a lot of times nobody has signal when they're way up in Mountain Ranch or whatever. So we tried that for a minute and people are like, still can't get on. But I love what Linda just said about recording it. So I think we may do that just to record it and be able to send it out, first of all. But my original point was talking about I don't think it's wise to jump new people on the board right away because I do think that's just a motivation killer.
You're right.
But something we do up here is I will call and I strongly encourage, I might be a little bit of a bully, I don't know, but I strongly encourage people to come to one committee meeting, all of our little committees, and just because how do you know you hate it? How do you know you're not going to love it unless you're there? Because some people say like, oh, I don't want anything to do with wine and whimsy. And then they come to a meeting, they're like, oh, I'm all in on wine and whimsy. So I encourage them just to come just so they can figure out what they maybe are interested in because they don't know what it's all about until they're all in. So that's all.
I like it. I like that. Very good. President Susan.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the Zoom meetings, how they work. We do ours on Facebook, of course. The problem is there's a delay with the folks that we're talking that are trying to ask questions, and we record our meetings, but when you do it on Facebook Live, there's a delay, and so people don't really feel like they're participating sometime. And I'm wondering how the other clubs do their Zoom meetings.
Go ahead, Maria.
On the online club, that's all we do. And basically, it's coordination. And like I have a Zoom account that it's my donation every month to the club. I designate it for Optimist. So if you're willing to try it and you don't have a Zoom account, get a hold of Charlotte and she'll give you my contact information. And as long as it doesn't conflict with our club's meetings, I'd be willing to help you and share. I'm involved in another organization that I have to use Zoom a lot, so I've gotten pretty adept at it. If your members are used to Facebook, there's a way that you can simultaneously put your Zoom meetings on Facebook. But make sure that if you're doing that, I'm sure you know this, that your Facebook is private. Otherwise, anybody could be sitting in on your meetings and see like your treasurer's report and stuff you're doing. So that when you said that, that kind of raised a red flag with me. But when you're doing Zoom, the most important thing is to have somebody watching who's coming in. That way you don't have anybody crashing your party. And Zoom works really well. It's recorded. One thing you need to remember and people need to get used to on Zoom and other organizations I'm in, we've incorporated into the training, is when you're in a restaurant setting for a meeting and you make a facial expression or a snarky remark, usually it's just the person sitting next to you that hears you. One thing, if you're in any type of Zoom meeting and that happens, everybody in the Zoom can see you in their little 2x3 square and it's recorded for prosperity. So if you're doing Zoom, you might want to do like, if you're just getting into it, starting it with a group, do a little blurb on, have a program on Zoom etiquette, a little 5 or 10 minutes. And once people get, and the other group I'm in, I deal with elderly women, and I've gotten them all comfortable on Zoom. Once they realize that they can have a little bit of control, like their facial, oh yeah, and you give them a heads up, people like it and it works out good. And especially hybrid. In hybrid meetings, you need to have a moderator in the room. So what you do is you just have somebody with a laptop or a phone and they have the Zoom. The people can, sometimes you can turn it so they can see, but it helps if everybody on the Zoom is muted. And then they just put in the chat what they want to say to the moderator if they have something to say. And then you can do that, because that's one thing in hybrids. If everybody's talking over each other, the Zoom people and the room people, it's confusing. So the main thing in a hybrid meeting is having a moderator. But if anybody, I can help you with that if you need some help. But getting people feeling comfortable is the main thing, right, Linda? Your ladies are pretty much comfortable with it. Once they get past, it's like sticking your toes in a cold pool. Once you get used to it, you're okay.
I love it. I appreciate the monitor. I'm going to take that to my Motor Madness committee.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So whatever way you manage it, just have a way to manage it, whether it's a moderator or something else, but to just turn it on and have it be a free for all is probably why we experience frustration with a hybrid model.
Susan, did you?
Yeah, just one more comment, because, and it has to do with retention, and it's the club faced this last year, and it's coming up this year again and again. So we're a daytime club, but we have members that work and they can't come to meetings, so they want to have a nighttime meeting. And then we have members that they don't drive at night, they don't want to have a nighttime meeting, plus we don't have a meeting place. So I'm wondering if anybody else has this thing where you're either day or night and the club members want you to change, or if we're just that lucky.
That's a good question. Any thoughts? Past Governor Charlie.
We actually, my club actually.
I see you. Sorry. I see you.
We can see her now.
We can see you. Yay.
I have a kill switch on my computer I didn't know I had. So as soon as I switched it on, my camera came on. And so my club, I'm SI Modesto, and we tried it pre-COVID, before COVID, and because we thought that was going to work. And so what we had is the same thing. We had the group that said they wanted evening. Well, half of the time they didn't show up to the one we started doing, where we had two meetings during the day and a third meeting was at night. They weren't coming to the nighttime meeting either. But we also had a lot of the ladies weren't coming to the nighttime meeting because of the same thing about driving. So I think it's a crapshoot. I think we do hybrid. We usually only have one or two people on the computer, primarily because we have one of our life members who actually is now active in our club, lives in Texas. So that was the upside of COVID. We got her back, and it's a challenge. It's trying to find that happy medium of what counts and getting them to do it. Ours was a dismal failure. That wasn't much help, but.
No, thank you. No, that was helpful. It's fine. It's good. Any feedback is super good. Okay. Anybody else want to pipe in here? Miss Carol, I see you.
Well, we found a couple of years ago, we were having that very problem. We're a day meeting, meet at lunch every week. And we were becoming so small because lots of classes, a lot of our members worked and couldn't come to the meetings. And you could get them to join, but there was no participation, and we would lose them. So we switched to one night meeting a month, and we had it at a pizza parlor, and many pizza parlors have an extra room. And for those that didn't like to drive at night, we offered to pick them up and do those type of things. And then a few years after that, at first it started as just a fun meeting. And they could bring their husbands or boyfriends or whatever, and they could order their wine or beer. And we just kind of made it a fun thing to do. And then we just changed it last year. So it's our business meeting at night, because people felt more than people. The women felt more involved in what the club was doing at the business meeting. I think that's been successful for us and our club, and helping us to grow. And we took away any excuse that you can't make a meeting. And that's helped us.
That's great. I love that. Anybody else having an urging question or thing they want to talk about?
I like Peggy's question is like, what do we do for fun? What's everybody do for fun?
What do we do for fun? What do we do for fun? People, let's hear it. Which Peggy asked that?
Peggy Montgomery.
Peggy Montgomery. Where are you? Peggy Montgomery.
From Hanford.
Hanford, there you are. What do you guys do for fun? Fun is important.
We do like murder mysteries with our group. That's lots of fun. We do scavenger hunts. Okay, Barney, what else do we do? You're the good one that shows up. You're muted, girlfriend.
I'll jump in, Peggy, because we're gonna do the country western thing later this year.
What's that?
Oh, it's the Marnie, where are you?
You got 2 pages. Like it's hard to see everything.
Oh, sorry.
Marnie went away.
Where is Marnie?
She's muted.
Unmute, there. She's trying. I see her. I see you, Marnie. Marnie, the bottom of the screen. There's a little audio.
To the left. To the left.
Hello.
There you go. We can hear you.
I'm using my phone instead of my laptop because I'm having issues with my laptop, so it's like learning new. We're doing a hoedown. We're going to do line dancing in a barbecue.
Yes, it is.
That's what we're doing this year.
We're gonna do line dancing in a bar.
Barbecue.
Barbecue.
Oh.
Barbecue. I will have wine there. The ladies do drink.
Make sure you invite us, Jennifer.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Amber, you better invite us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Crying out loud, I want an invitation. If I don't get an invitation to that, I'm going to be not happy. Okay, I love this. We got a murder mystery. How fun is that? What the heck? Okay, Hanford's got it going on with the fun. Who else is doing anything fun?
We are. Manteca is.
Manteca, Sandy.
Yeah,
tell us.
we have We have our Dorothy Derby, our horse race, which is always fun. And Beth came last year, so yeah, she's seen that. And then in February we do cookie decorating, and we always do it when we're doing our Girl of the Month, so they get to participate in our cookie decorating contest.
To that.
So that's always fun. Yeah, we have a good time in Manteca.
Fun with purpose. I like it. Okay,
Clovis does a lot of fun things. Clovis does a lot outside of their club stuff. Yeah.
We went and did glass blowing. About 20 of us went, and it was really fun. And we all got an ornament for Christmas that we got to make and all. So that was fun.
That's very nice. I like that. By the way, backing up to Sandy. Sandy, please send me an invitation, or Carol. I want to come to that Derby Days. I miss it every year. So make sure I know about that. Okay, who else wants to share anything? But fun is so important, you guys. Who raise your hand if you don't think fun is important? Not really. Just kidding.
Hey, Charlotte, I just have a quick question. I just want to know, for all of you guys down in the Central Valley, I would love to know how many of you actually go out to wineries and do you crush grapes? I think that would be fun.
Actually crush the grapes?
Yeah, with your feet. Get in there.
Okay, field trip, Gloria.
Oh my gosh.
We'll line it up.
Okay.
Like Lucy and Ethel.
Exactly.
You guys, Calaveras.
Right. Hey, we can come down there. Yeah, let's crush some grapes.
I'm thinking we need to have like a region-wide, like, I don't know about crushing grapes, Gloria, but you know, I can
come out to Calaveras. We'll give you the wine.
I think we could have a divided event. Some of us go to the wineries and some go in the fields and crush the grapes or whatever.
Right. So you're thinking drinking
how to do it.
and crushing. So look, I want to do both.
Okay, well,
Right.
let's do it. That
No,
sounds
I'll
fun.
just be on the drinking committee.
Right, right. I see
That's where your
Peggy,
talent
Claire, and
lies. Go for it.
Peggy.
Yes. Delicato Winery used to have a grape stomp once a year. And they would loan out clothing and shoes so that you didn't ruin your own clothing. And years ago, when our kids were still in school, we used to host Japanese girls that were on social visits. And they loved it, absolutely loved it. Our 4-H club that we were involved in more than 25 years, we would do the petting zoo. And just you can jump into somebody else's event and offer something that maybe they've never thought of, but would be really nice. I mean, the kids that came out with their parents for the grape stomp, they weren't going to go in and taste wine, but they sure loved holding the bunnies and petting the goats and whatever else they could do. I don't know how we haven't been active in 4-H in a long time now, but there used to be a lot of that going on. And if you've got an FFA group where you could, work together on something too. That's one thing that we've learned with going to these events through the school district or whatever, and we can ask questions of these kids. When we had our holiday affair back in November, was it? December? We had a group of kids from Lathrop High in the Interact group, Interact Club. And just talking to them, they were so easy to find out, what do you like to do? And I think, didn't we, I could be wrong on this, and I don't know if I'm spilling beans here, but last year it seems like we gave out a small scholarship to a boy for the first time ever. And so, I mean, whew, that opens doors. But yeah, these kids don't always know that they can apply and come and talk to you and do whatever. I always wonder when they sleep. And these are kids that we want to have back in Seroptimus. And
Right.
Speaking of internationally, we were on a trip with my husband's younger brother and his wife. They live in Germany. And we went to Austria. We were on the boat down the river, and we went to Austria. And there was a bust of a woman who was being honored by Seroptimus in Austria. And I thought, I've got to share this with my group, because sometimes you forget, yeah, we're all over the world. We could go visit and find out what they do too, I'm sure.
That's very
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. One last thing we just did this past August, we actually did Seroptimus San Francisco Family Day Picnic in Golden Gate Park. It went over so well that others who missed it, and I said, you need to book that date again. So we're going to do it again. But it was really nice to see people with their spouses, their partners, their children, all of that. And that was something that had not been done before. So that's one thing that we will be doing, along with crushing and drinking grapes. But
that's fun.
As you can tell, I think I need to go get a glass of wine.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's that time. It's that time of the evening, right?
I was gonna say, Peggy, thank you for asking the question, because I know your club does a lot, and it's really important that we just take time to have fun. And those are where you get to know people, and you're not, arguing over the color of napkins or whatever it is, and these are types of things that can really make a difference in retention. So
it really, really, really does help with retention and building friendships. It really does.
Yeah.
Girls just have to have fun.
Yes, definitely.
I want to say something really quick. We've got our public awareness chair on here, Chris Carroll, and someone dropped in the chat, Lynette did, send some invitations to the clubs, please. And Lynette, you're still on here, correct? Are you saying like fundraisers we're doing, things like that? What are you referring to?
So yeah, thank you, Charlotte. So yeah, so it used to be where our club meetings, we used to have a time where we would read, what's going on in the region. And like, and when you're saying that, I don't remember us getting those anymore. I don't know if people are not sending them out or
Can
but
you
I
clarify?
I think it's more on Facebook now than it is like emailing flyers.
Oh,
There's still a
got
few clubs that
it.
email stuff out, but I think the tendency has been more just put it out there, people will see it. But that's a good suggestion, though. I mean, we can't assume everybody's on Facebook, nor can we assume everyone reads their email. So cover our
Yeah,
bases.
so Lynette, I wasn't there. I probably wasn't around back in the day, or maybe our club didn't do it. But so you're saying that you would get a report of what other clubs in our region were doing, or what did that look like?
So we had like a secretary for our club meeting, plus we had a corresponding secretary. So maybe I should ask the corresponding secretary to look at the Facebook, because I don't do Facebook, sorry. And then maybe they could just update us on some things that are happening with other club fun things. Because I think that sounds really fun. I mean, like, I don't know if I'll be able to go to Hanford, but that sounds super fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. That's a good thing. That's a good idea, Lynette, to have the corresponding secretary kind of, you'd have to help, maybe have to give her some help, give her all the names of the clubs and the pages. I don't know. And then she could peruse and keep tabs on what everybody's doing, because it is hard. I mean, I'm realizing I have to be more intentional and go look, because it doesn't always show up in my feed what clubs are doing,
I think it's important though that to all support each other, and in terms of retention, it shows those newer members, oh my gosh, look, this is just more than Calaveras. This is just more than these. This is all of us together, and this is a huge, it's a thing. We're a thing, you guys.
So I think we're about done. Chris Carroll, let's have one last thing here. Let's do it.
Well, I just wanted to kind of say, in regards to Lynette, what you were saying is if the clubs are sending in their flyers, like how we we look for the correct logo and the correct mission statement, and that it says international of, if those are being sent in for just another eye on them, put on the club event page at the region website. So SierraPacificRegion.org, and there's a page called Club Events. So if they're sending them in to me, that's where they're posted as well. So it's a little bit easier to find them there than maybe on Facebook, because again, like Charlotte was saying, the feeds aren't really there. It's hard to find. You'd end up looking up 30 plus clubs to see what they're doing. But if I'm getting them, I'm sharing them there.
I'm so glad you said that, because that was my initial thought, and then I forgot about it. That's why I said your name in the beginning of that. That's where my mind was going. That is the easier way to do this. Get it to Chris, our public awareness chair, and then she will put it on our region Facebook page. Hello, then your
And the website.
And the website.
And
it has its own, yeah.
And then
Facebookers.
That makes perfect sense. Then you don't have to go. So that seriously, get your stuff to Chris Carroll. Yes.
Get it to me. Get it to me.
Chris. Get it to Chris. SI Turlock. SI Turlock.
Well, it just goes to public awareness.
Well, I know, but in case you forget Turlock, then you could hunt her down that way. All right. I think we have a message over here in the chat. District Director to Pam says, yes, I think we used to mail the flyers to all the clubs, but we don't do that anymore. All right. Yes. Okay. Well, that's understandable, right? Postage is so expensive. Okay. I think we're at we can't keep you guys on. We can't have a pajama party. I see Tammy's hand. Governor Judy, when are we cutting this off? We want one
We
more?
can cut it off anytime. So
all right. How about one more? I'm going to take Tammy Bingston.
Okay, so I just want to ask, like, we could email the flyers to all clubs if the emails were working, but they're not, right?
The club emails work.
I tried to email some stuff to clubs just earlier this week, and they were all rejected, every single one.
There are issues. If you send to your district director, at least I'll speak for District 2, we will be happy to send them out, right, Debbie? Debbie T. Because we have at least all of the president's email addresses. We send to both their personal email address. I do personal email addresses and their Seroptimist official emails. So if you want something to go out to everyone, at least at the district level, we can help with that.
Tammy, this is Beth. So you were sending it from your personal email to the seroptimist.net email?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
It should be working, so we can help you with that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, thanks everyone, and thank you, Charlotte.
Yes, well, thank you. Judy too.
This is good. Good discussion. I'm gonna stop the recording.